Hello and welcome to the latest from Hearts Standard. My name is Joel Sked and I am delighted to be joined from Copenhagen by Craig Cairns. How is it going, Craig?
Very well, thanks. I wish I was. I've got my Scandi sweater on. I'm ready to go. I've had my morning higgy. I've probably butchered the pronunciation of that. I'm sorry I can't show you anything more scenic than the inside of a Wake Up Copenhagen hotel room, but I have to rely on the Wi-Fi, unfortunately.
We're not sitting in a Brew Square this time around. You are in Copenhagen for the trip. I've got other matters to attend to back home, unfortunately. So which are entirely of my own doing or undoing, I should say. But we will come to talk about Copenhagen very, very shortly. But first, I know it's a couple of days on from the game on Saturday, but I think it's only right to discuss Heart and Midlothian's 2-0 win over Dundee on Saturday, a result that lifted Hearts off the bottom of the table up to 10th at one point on Saturday, and then back down to 11th with Hibs bringing up the rear due to Kilmarnock getting an equaliser at Dundee United. How big a win was that, Craig?
It's huge. I said going in that I don't know if it was unfair on Critchley or not, but I anticipated that it would be the first time that there would be negative attention turned towards him if they didn't beat Dundee at home, because, and I'm repeating myself, so apologies for people who've heard this before, but there was an initial bounce when he came in. Performances have kept up to an extent, even though they've dipped off a wee bit, but the results haven't been there. But he kind of got away with it because everybody knew how tough the fixture list was at that point. Not only was it Thursday, Sunday, etc., etc. There's like a lot of travel and decent European sides in there. Where the levels are intense and it takes a lot out of players. So I think he got a little bit of a pass for that. Dundee, he just had to win. He had to win to just stop there being any negative attention coming towards him or any suspicion or any starting of it, I believe anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was always going to be the case. The performance didn't really matter, and the performance, as we'll come on to talk about, wasn't the best. Even we played better in defeats this season, and especially under Neil Critchley. But it was result over performance. It's result over performance at all points. Especially this month with the 2 European games and a very trying to think of the right way to describe the fixture list without I don't want to call it easy fixture list, but a less taxing one than the.
Yeah, there's more winnable games.
More winnable games, exactly. So
we played the top 3 in the league, and 2 of the better European teams as well. So I mean, it was a tough run of fixtures, whatever way you could look at it.
Before getting into the game, which we'll only kind of touch on brief points during the game, kind of looking at some of the stuff you talked about on your rewatch, or wrote about on your rewatch. How surprised? What was your view on the starting 11? Were you surprised? Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, we sat and pretty much picked that team a couple of days before or something, didn't we? And then we got to the point where we didn't know who the other forward player was going to be. And I think maybe slightly romantically, we were suggesting James Wilson, but there was nothing to suggest that he was going to start that game. He scored 2 goals off the bench a wee while ago now, not really been seen, or actually it hasn't been seen until Bruges. He come on late against Bruges, and then that's his first start there. So it was a slight surprise that he was in lineup. I was almost certain he was going to put Spittal out onto the left, given that Penrice was back. So yeah, it was just that one position, and I was pleasantly surprised, and it seemed to do the trick. I think he sort of fell out the game a little bit in the second half, Wilson, but he certainly did his job in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about Wilson very, very shortly. In terms of the starting 11, when I was writing the predicted 11, I think I got 10 out of 11. And again, it was down to that final 4 position. And I would have liked, in my head, I would like to see Wilson, but I thought that Critchley would have went for Vargas, and especially kind of what his comments afterwards, which made sense that Vargas would have played, but also the way he talked about Wilson and the work they've been doing with him, and he's got that ability to stretch the game. But I just thought I just didn't think you'd go for Musa and James Wilson at the same time, with two guys who have not played a lot of first team football. And when I say first team football, I mean in terms of Musa's case, playing at such a level. He's obviously played for Sevilla, being with the fourth tier, but it's like a massive step up. I just think that the experience was there. But as Graham says, and Wilson took a bit of pressure off Shankland. He had someone to chase the ball down and willing to run in behind, and that's what it was. You focused on Wilson's role within that. Lawrence Shankland talked about him positively. Neil Critchley was really interested in what he had to say about him as well. And you kind of could have seen that in his performance. He didn't really get any chances at goals, but it was an encouraging performance.
Mm-hmm. That one I'm trying to remember now, that one that he got in the second half, did that end up being offside? Because it looked too good to be true. It's like he had his back to goal in the 6-yard box and it dropped him. It looked like he was beyond the defender, and then he ends up going out towards the corner flag. I
had a lot to drink on Saturday, so
I can't remember if the flag went up for it or not. So if it wasn't, that was a decent chance. And I think he almost connected with a header earlier in the game as well from one of Penrice's crosses.
Yeah, remember that.
But to go back to what you said about Musa, I think you're right. Like, it's a bit of a gamble playing to, let's just put Musa in the inexperienced bracket with the kind of caveats that you've given there, because he's not like inexperienced in the same way as James Wilson is. But as I said to you on Saturday, you can see that Musa's really disciplined. I think that's something that you can maybe worry about with those kinds of players, that they don't put in their defensive shift, or maybe their positioning's a bit off, or they'll drop their man or something like that. And there's none of that. He's very disciplined off the ball, Musa. And then I think that then allows you to carry their experience of Wilson, I think, because I don't think... Yeah, Musa hasn't looked like a fish out of water or anything like that.
No,
we kind of expected, given his lack of football and what was for Hearts up until now, and what was kind of said about him a few months ago.
And Graham just comes in and says it was onside, he just couldn't get it under control.
That's it. And then he ends up going away. It was a tough one to take, because I think he's got his back to goal and he's trying to take it and it runs away from him or something like that. Cheers for clarifying that.
But Wilson did play a key role in the first goal with kind of recycling the ball when I think it was Blair Spittal shot that was parried away by John McCracken, who we both had a good laugh at on Saturday with some of his goalkeeping. He
got
kept
an assist for the second one, McCracken.
He finally got his assist. Wilson obviously was first to it, played it to Penrice, and Penrice floated the ball to Shankland, and it was a brilliant header.
It really was.
We'll talk about Shankland, but what I wanted to bring in was a big nose glue sniffing. Disciple says the difference was we took our early chances. We've played the exact same way since Liam and Neil came in, and that was a big thing. Like, you look at the Omonia game, Hearts took the chances when they came to them. St Mirren, it makes a massive difference, and we've seen Hearts be quite more of a kind of first half team. Doing that on Saturday was massive, and the fact that they came from Shankland as well, and there were two different goals, but two very Shankland goals. I've lost count of the number of times he has peeled off into the back post and scored a header, both for Scotland and for Hearts. And then his second one, he didn't catch it right, but it goes and ends up in the back of the net. And it's just, you just kind of saw the confidence kind of release from him. And I think you told me, I think it was yourself that said on Saturday that the confidence spread to other players, that they were kind of wanting to do more. And then on Shankland, you've seen in the second half where he kind of went past a few players, then tried to dink McCracken from the edge of the box, and it was just like he just felt free again.
Yeah, and he had a chance right after he scored the first one as well. He forces a save out McCracken.
Yeah.
I mean, we were trying not to fall into that cliche and say, I mean, we did say it a few times, but maybe he just needs one to go in and that's it. And listen, it's one game. We need to see what happens in future matches now, but instantly you could see that he was a different player. Instantly. It was interesting to watch.
I also believe there might have been a change of boots in as part of that as well. But
really?
I don't know if he changed them for this game or he changed them recently. But I need to, if next time we get to speak to him, I need to ask him about that. In terms of other players, there's a couple of comments here that again touch on the stuff that you picked up on in the analysis piece yesterday. So I'd recommend anyone to go and read that. But Peter Brannan says in capital letters, "What a difference Craig Halkett made in defence." And I'm really glad to see Halkett and provide Hearts with what he has, because I still maintain that there's a role for him. I know he's certainly been grouped within Boyce and Grant and Barry Mackay in terms of players who could move on. The difference is Halkett's got another year on his contract, and I kind of wrote about it when he did sign his extension. That I know this is the big if or kind of caveat, is when he is fit, he is a perfect defender for the Scottish Premiership. We've seen that, and you illustrated that with them looking at his duels, his aerial wins, etc., etc. And I just think it's a real credit to him that, having not played for so long, that he's not really looked out of place, or he doesn't look like he's not played for ages.
Yeah, especially against Aberdeen, where he's had to come on during the first half. That's not easy to do in and of itself, never mind if you've not played for a couple of months. But yeah, just to add to what you've said there, I'd actually forgotten how good he is on the ball as well. It's not that I thought he was a huddy or anything like that. Never thought that about him, but he's gone on a few dribbles in the last couple of games, and he plays that pass which breaks two lines for the first goal to fight Spittal. And Spittal, until that point, I had just said to you at that point, at that exact moment when Halkett's playing that pass, I said, they're crowding out Spittal. And that was about the first time that Spittal got some space, and we scored from it. Yeah.
So on Halkett, very underrated passer of the ball from defence. You've seen that with... because when he played in that back three with Kingsley and Souttar, there was a lot of focus on Kingsley and Souttar, but Halkett has it in with him as well. And going on to Spittal, you did say that right on cue. Like they were as soon as Spittal was looking to get the ball, there was one or two men closing down. And interestingly enough, I think the potentially one of the analysts for Dundee were sitting right next to us, and I think he might be speaking to someone at the bench. He was definitely mentioned Spittal a lot. So there was obviously a clear game plan for them. But then, which means I will bring in, because there's talking about Spittal, Graham says about Saturday, that partnership down the left with Penrice and Spittal has been great, and he follows up. Penrice may not miss Cochrane as much as expected. He's been outstanding since he signed. We talked about it again on Saturday while the game was going on. They two are really, really good to watch, and I think I turned around to you and asked what's the best kind of partnership on the left, or between a wide midfielder and a left back at Hearts since before Penrice and Spittal. We had a few suggestions, but I can't remember two players linking up or dovetailing the way they do, the understanding and telepathy they have.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Fisas and Scatchell, who played in those positions and were probably better players than those two, but
more individualistic.
Exactly. I don't remember them having the chemistry. I mean, I'm sure they did link up, but I don't remember them having the chemistry here. And the other one I mentioned was again similar way, Naismith and McCann, similar in that two good players. It was a wee while ago now. I can't remember exactly their chemistry, but yes, they are. It's telepathic sometimes. Whether it's a 1-2 or Penrice makes a run, Spittal just knows where he's going to be. And there's times where he's playing the pass blind and he's feeding it in between two players and that kind of thing. And the two goals come from it. We spoke about it, Aberdeen missing Penrice and the effect that has in Spittal's game. And we spoke about it in the build-up to Dundee, how important it was having Penrice back. And it's where the two goals have come from.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just really, really enjoyable to watch. I'm hopefully going to write something up on Penrice today for, I don't know if I'll put it out this week or the next time he plays well, so maybe Friday.
Player of the month, we should mention.
Absolutely, Heart Standard Play of the Month, so we'll hopefully have a chat with him. Hopefully this month. I know it'll be busy with Christmas, etc., etc. So it might be the start of January. But yeah, looking forward to speaking to him and about his game, and we're sure we'll get plenty of interesting stuff from him. Before we move on to kind of talking about Copenhagen, your experience so far, is there anything else worth adding? I mean, the first clean sheet in a while, 4 for the season, really important. Limiting Dundee to just 5 shots and 0 on target was really beneficial. But aside from that, is there anything else worth picking up on?
Somebody did mention in the comments just quickly, Devlin was very good again. I think there was a wee bit of worry when... Oh, that's another position that we got wrong, Beningame. But we didn't know, to be fair, between Kent and Beningame, we didn't know who was fit and who was playing. So we knew that it would be Devlin or Benny, and it would be Kent or HALKETT. And Devlin made us not miss Benny, basically. I didn't think at any point in that game we could do with Benny. I know he does a different job, he's a different player, but... I don't think we missed Benny at the weekend. I think that's a great compliment to Devlin and Boateng.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just looking at his... James Penrice has an appetite for the ball like Kiki. That's a good shout. Just wanting to be involved.
I don't usually like using this, but he gets it. James Penrice gets it. I think that's a good way of describing James Penrice.
Yeah, absolutely. He does. He's and just the way he plays, ferocity, 100%. Really, really. I was going to say vivacious. Not vivacious is the word, but engaging in how he performs, and it's something that fans love to see. Now, that 2-0 win is in the past, and we'll move on. We'll play Kilmarnock in the next Scottish Premiership game on Sunday. We'll have to do so without Lawrence Shankland for a nonsense booking, which I think was very harsh and kind of bought by Mohamed Salah. But
I don't think he actually touches Silla's head, which is pretty bad from Silla. But
you're always running the risk.
I still think that by the letter of the law, that's a yellow card. My issue is that referees choose when they give yellow cards and when they don't for them.
Right, Copenhagen. So I'm not sure. We won't preview the game today because we might maybe do a video later on in the week looking ahead to it. Just depending on times if they work, because you'll be busy tomorrow. But you arrived yesterday. Just on your experience so far, I know you've not seen too much, but what can fans expect, weather, etc. And you had to walk out to the stadium as well.
Aye, we had a wee wander last night, got something to eat, and then I was up early this morning, walked to the stadium, and I'll this afternoon put together a video, hopefully going out to tomorrow morning. I may need to finish it in the morning, just depending, because I want to go back out and film some other things. So it just depends on what time I have, really. Weather, I'll start there. It's cold, but it's dry and it's still. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's maybe forecast to get a bit wetter on Thursday. I can't remember. People should check that. But in terms of how it is at the moment, it's cold. So if you've got layers on, if you're wrapped up, you're fine. But you're not getting battered by a cold wind or sideways rain or anything like that. So it's quite nice. It's fairly overcast today, to be fair. I think it was a wee bit nicer yesterday, but it's if it stays like this, it's nice to be out in. Walking about keeps you warm enough. Basically, it'll probably be different sitting in the press box for 2 hours on Thursday, but it's fine. It's totally fine.
What about the stadium? How was the walk out? And I've been there before. I think it's great. I think when I was there, it was very again. This was a match day, so it was very chill. People were just sitting on this like the side of the road or on benches, just having a drink. But it does seem quite a nice area of the stadium, and the stadium itself is. I was about to swear there is brilliant. Put an F word before that.
And that's because the club shop is called. FCK fan shop, so it does look like a swear word on first viewing. It's massive. It's huge. I wasn't able to peer in anywhere, unfortunately, like I was with Jan Bredel Stadium. So it was just me walking around, showed bits of it, and but there was like another ground in athletics stadium just next to it that you could walk into. There's a wee bit of a construction site going on, so I walked through that to get into it, and that was really nice. I got some videos of that, so I'll be putting that up tomorrow. And then it's on a lovely street. There's like trees down the each side, and there's just like your typical sort of different coloured Scandinavian buildings scattered about and that kind of thing, and just more on that. That's if you're like me and you just like seeing new places and walking around and discovering, it's absolutely brilliant for that. I mean, Bruges was stunning in a sort of quaint way, a sort of enclosed way. This is very grand. Like there's so much old, huge architecture. There's a mixture of the sort of modern buildings and like Gothic and medieval structures and all that kind of stuff. So it's a stunning city. It really is. It's got canals like Amsterdam. If you're looking for like some sightseeing and like things like museums and all that, there's plenty of that stuff to do as well. It's just a really, if you like discovering new places, it's a beautiful place to be.
I'm going to say that the vast majority of Hearts fans are not interested in museums, but are interested in the cost of a pint. So did you? Of course. Because loads of folk will just want to wander around and see what Copenhagen has to offer, which is a lovely city to do so. In terms of price of a pint, pubs that you went into, is there anyone that's worth visiting? I know there's one pub that's apparently opening 24 hours for Hearts fans, which is
that's one of the. I think that's one of the Irish bars. They've got some deal where the booze is going to be a bit cheaper. I don't think I've been told the name of it, unfortunately. We were in a couple and it was like £7 or £8 for a pint. I'm just trying to look at this because people said earlier Wall Street pub. See, I wasn't there, but other people were in Wall Street pub and it was £5 for a pint, so a bit better there. But if you can seek out that other one and you can get in, I'd imagine it'll fill up fairly quickly. I'd get yourself down there because it sounds like they're doing a decent deal on drinks. I think there's happy hours scattered about as well. Yeah, but I think don't just wander in. If you do wander in anywhere, you're going to be, especially in the centre. Then I paid £8 for a pint last night, so it is expensive.
Yes, it's. I think it'll be probably the most expensive trip Hearts fans will be on. You never know who will face. Well, hopefully someone will face in the playoff stage. Like I said, we might preview the game tomorrow, but we'll see. Craig will have plenty on his plate, so we'll just see timing wise. Before we move on, a big nose exclusive and Disciple asked, is Musa available for Europe? No, he's not. He can't get registered until February if we get through, because he wasn't registered originally. He can't register players again until after the league phase is finished. Before we finish there, Craig, is there anything else you would like to add? I've not asked you about Copenhagen.
Don't think so. The food's great as well. I didn't know that. It's really well known for its food. So if that's something else that you like. Yeah, I was surprised by that as well. I honestly
I've been twice and I hadn't realised that.
Didn't really know what to expect coming over. I mean, I'm like vaguely aware of some of Denmark's history and what Scandinavia entails and that kind of thing. But I've been blown away by it. I mean, I knew people had said before that it's a great place to visit, but been blown away.
Good stuff. And I've just realised that I didn't read out our sponsor message, so why not do it right at the end? So Good Vibes Giveaways are proud to sponsor the Hearts Standard and offer fantastic prizes to fans of the club. Prizes change weekly and include tech gadgets, days out, weekends away, tax-free cash, and even OASIS tickets. Get your tickets now at giveaways.com and enter for your chance to spread the good vibes. And if you're feeling very good vibey, I'm going to hide this and I'm going to show this, I think. If you can, support the channel, YouTube channel, and subscribe and get notified whenever we go live. But just subscribe. It helps us out massively. Until the next time, Craig, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day in Copenhagen, and I will catch up with you again later on this week. And to those who have watched or are about to watch, hope you have a great week, and we'll be back very, very soon. Goodbye.